few months ago, I done something really silly. I went onto an online car auction and bought a 503 brake horsepower Range Rover for just £2,700. Completely blind, no physical checks or no engine inspection from me. Not even a walk around video, just some low quality photos and a report which is widely known for not being accurate. But even still, here's why I did it. First of all, it's got a 5-litre supercharged V8 under the bonnet. Fundamentally, the SVR engine. That's 503 brake horsepower of absolute chaos. And second, the price. I want it for £2,700, making it the cheapest 5-litre V8 in the country by a mile. And these things, they usually sell for about 10 grand. So I thought, bargain off the century, right? Worst case, I'll break it for parts and still come out on top. Best case, I've got a fully functional supercharged monster for the price of a used Fiesta. However, things didn't quite go to plan. So in today's video, you're going to find out exactly what went wrong with this thing, why I had to get rid of it, and more importantly, why this whole experience was nothing like I imagined when I hit that bid now button. Let's get into it. Now, you all know about this car. 2010 5-litre V8 Supercharged Range Rover Sport. 503 brake horsepower. So on paper, this looked like a really good car, but for me, it's not exactly what it turned out to be. Initially, when I bought this Range Rover Sport, it was because I thought I could make a lot of good content on the channel and show all of you guys. Buying a cheap Range Rover Sport, supercharged, you know, it's a bit of an underdog, competes with the big boys like the SVRs. Maybe not like for like, but when you look at the price comparison, they're so far apart, a lot of value for money in this car. There's no denying that. And that was my initial impressions. I was quite impressed with the car. It's very fast, sounds very good. And it did drive nice for the first couple of days when I had this car. But I'm going to touch on to some of the reasons of why I didn't really gel with this car, what I don't like about it, and why fundamentally this car is now sold and I'm actually delivering it to the customer who's bought this Sport. So let's start with the first point. There's no real emotional connection with this car. Now, I know that sounds a bit bizarre, but as a car enthusiast, many of you people will understand, you get a feeling with every car you drive, especially when it comes to a sports car, a classic, a car that's got something about it. Now, this car just doesn't do it for me. It lacks that connection. It's not a bad car. There's no taking away from it. It is, on paper, a great car, but I just don't find myself wanting to drive this car very often. And I've taxed it, I've insured it. You know, it's a car which I could be daily driving, but a lot of the times when there's another option on the driveway, I just don't see myself jumping into the Sport. I don't know, maybe because I still need to fix that ACE suspension issue, so it just doesn't drive 100% as it should. Maybe it's the fact that I'm used to driving Vogues, and obviously they are a much more comfortable car. But then again, I've had Range Rover Sports. I've had the newer model, the L494. Really like those cars. But yeah, I just don't find that connection and wanting to get into this car. The spark's not there. The next point is the fuel economy. Now, obviously, you don't buy a 5-litre V8 supercharged if you are going to be thinking so much about fuel economy. You'd obviously buy a diesel or a smaller engine. And I knew that. I knew this car is not going to be good on fuel. But oh my God, this is the worst car I've ever had on fuel. You're literally putting in 50 quid, and if you were to daily drive this car, you could literally get through that by the end of the day. It is that bad on fuel. I took this car on a 200-mile round trip, motorway driving, by the way, right? And I thought, I'll put in 60 quid of fuel. It had a little bit of fuel in there anyway, and I thought just 60 quid, that'll get me there and back. And I do this journey a lot, by the way, the same journey, I do it a lot in different cars. So I put the 60 quid in. I've started my journey. I'm arriving to where I'm going, which is halfway off this 200-mile round trip. Upon arrival, my range was nowhere near enough to get me back home. So I had to put in another £30 of fuel to get me back. So a 200-mile motorway drive in this car cost me the best part of £90. Now, I'm sure you can obviously get better miles per gallon, drive sensibly, but I'm driving this car as I drive all my other cars, motorway driving, slowing down, speeding up, bit of traffic here and there. It was shockingly bad. And I can't justify that amount of fuel on this type of car. I've had plenty of sports cars before, cars which are bad on fuel, and they're quick cars, and you can drive them like a sports car. This is not a sports car. It has the straight line speed of a sports car, but it won't handle and drive anywhere near to a performance car. And I've always had 4x4s for comfortable cruisers, you know, driving them sensibly. So from that point, I just can't justify the heavy fuel of this supercharged V8. Don't get me wrong, if this was a L494, the newest shape, SVR, that's gonna handle better, they drive a little bit better as well, and I have driven one of those, then you may justify that car in terms of the fuel. But for me, not this one, not this car. Which leads me on to the next point. I'm so used to driving a Range Rover Vogue, and this is not a Vogue. It is not meant to be a Vogue, hence why it's called the Sport. It is meant to drive more like a, you know, car type of 4x4, a bit like the BMW X5s, but it just doesn't do it for me. I think I'm just spoilt from driving an old Range Rover Vogue for the last year or so. I've had the newer Vogues as well, and I'm just used to that comfortable, more luxury refinement in a Range Rover. So when you get into something like this and the suspension is a bit more stiff, it drives a little bit more like a car. It's not something which I'm used to, and I don't like it. I just don't like it in this actual car. So maybe I need to find myself a 5-litre V8 supercharged Range Rover Vogue. Maybe something with a bit less mileage as well, but they are very, very expensive. And I'm sure a lot of you know those Vogues, they've really started to rocket in price. And to be honest, so has this Range Rover Sport. You know, there's no secret about it. I have made a bit of money selling this car, but that was not the aim of me buying this car on the channel. It was not about profit. So, you know, it's a bit of a bonus, made some money along the way, but a part of that is probably from a lot of people are starting to realize how good Land Rover cars are, especially those Range Rover Vogues. Such a good car. I always bang on about it, but value for money, that old Range Rover Vogue of mine, what an absolute car that is, value for money. So that's the third reason. This isn't a Vogue. It's not meant to be, so maybe it's me. But I guess that just means I'm gonna keep a lookout for the V8 Vogue. And if any of you have one of those for sale, or you know anyone, feel free, just drop me a comment or send me a DM on Instagram, as I would be very interested in buying one of those cars. And the last reason, I'm gonna say it's timing. A lot of these points are to do with me, so you know, take it with a pinch of salt. It's not me slating this car, it's probably me. But I'm here to give you my story and living with one of these cars. So, timing. There's a couple of things changing, a couple of things already have changed. Now, the Range Rover L322s, which I had on the channel, both the £375 Range Rover, which I took to Paris, amazing car, even with all its faults, but what a car. And my other 2007 V8 diesel, which I bought for like £12.50, kept it for about a year or so. They have both now been sold, which meant this Sport was a bit more of my daily driver. And I miss that car, I really do, which is why I've said this car would be replaced with a 5-litre V8 Range Rover, the big one, because I'm gonna get the best of both worlds. I'm gonna get the engine, which I really do like, the 5-litre V8, but I'll get all the comfort and refinements and the actual drive off the Range Rover Vogue. So that's what I mean about timing. I think I'm just missing having a big Range Rover. But as well as that, by the time this video goes live, I would have taken delivery of my brand new Land Rover car, which you're gonna find out very soon. And that car, it doesn't drive like a boat, but equally it doesn't drive like a sports car. So whether that gives you a bit of a clue of what car I've bought, I don't know. But ultimately, I've got another Land Rover coming in. So I think it's timing. It really was timing with this car. But ultimately, as I've said throughout this video, I'm not trying to knock or slate this car. It still is a very, very good car. Good value for money if you can get it at the right price. You know, I wouldn't go and pay 10 grand for one of these like some of them are listed for sale. Some of them are even more, but that's just my opinion. I would rather go for a Range Rover Vogue, which I think is gonna hold the money better. And honestly, I think those are the cars which are catching on more to, you know, the classic market. The prices of those are increasing. And I would just say, from my opinion, probably a safer place to put your money. But who knows, with the economy we're in at the moment, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of things changing, and prices of cars as a whole have fallen. So that's just my opinion, and that's where we are with this Range Rover Sport on the channel. It is a shame. There could have been some really good content to put on the channel with this car, but it just didn't feel right. I don't want to put a car on the channel, make loads of content about it, if deep down it's not something which I'm enjoying. There's no point in me hyping up a car if it's just not what I like. So I want to be transparent, I want to be honest about my experience, and just let you guys know this is the last video, the last drive with this Range Rover Sport V8 Supercharged on the channel. So even though it's been a short journey with this car, I still got a proper feel for that crazy 5-litre V8 engine, which is highly sought after, and luckily without any crippling repair bills, which is a win in itself considering how risky this purchase was, buying it completely blind from an online car auction. To come out of the other end with no scary bills and a bit of profit, it is a bit of a bonus with this car. The performance was mad, the fuel bills even madder, but for the price, it still is a bit of a bargain. And as fun as it was and as cheap as it is, it just wasn't quite for me. When it comes to these older models, I'm more of a full fat Range Rover guy. The refinement, the luxury, and the overall feel is what I prefer with the big Range Rover, and that's where I belong. And on that note, guys, I'm going to end this one here. Thank you so much again for watching, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'm going to see you all on the next one. Take care, guys.